understand why the name of this award has changed, but I really love being a woman and being a female artist. I do.
Well, Adele sparking serious backlash after that comment. She won the Brit Awards' newly created Artist of the Year Award. It merges male and female categories and creates one top gender-neutral prize. While the critics are lobbing attacks at the musician for saying that she's proud to be a woman.
But I do think what's fascinating is we're seeing that you really have to be sort of a bulletproof brand, an institution like an Adele, like a Chappelle, to even begin to sort of puncture a little air into this sort of liberal orthodoxy.
I am woman. Adele now echoing a similar message at the Brit Awards, becoming the woke folks' next target. Uh-oh. She's accused of transphobia by declaring she loves being a woman at the gender-neutral award show Tuesday.
So Fox News is trying to claim that trans folks are upset with Adele for saying that she enjoys being a woman, which is wildly ridiculous, because the big thing that trans people are fighting for, to be very clear, is for all of us to be able to celebrate our own gender identity and expression. And this just goes to show how desperate for allies all of these TERFs are. They want to make it seem like everybody out there is transphobic and that they are all agreeing with them, when in actuality most people don't care. Like, some people are gonna have like a few hang-ups and be slow with pronouns and stuff like that, but fundamentally don't really care. It's weird that these TERFs are hyper fixating on trans folks, and it's especially weird that Fox News, one of the largest cable networks in the country, is hyper focusing on trans folks. And it's especially weird that they are putting lies into the mouths of random anonymous Twitter people that don't exist, trying to say that they're canceling Adele for being transphobic, when that is fundamentally not happening. No one is out there trying to cancel Adele for saying that she enjoys being a woman or that she's proud of being a woman. They are just inventing fake outrage and then getting outraged at that fake outrage, which really just shows how shameless Fox News in the lies that it's willing to put out there. Like, yeah, there's plenty of transphobes out there, but Adele is definitely not one of those transphobes. I mean, fairly recently, Adele actually went onto the channel of a trans YouTuber that does makeup tutorials.
I am so honored that you're here on my channel today.
I'm so excited. When we were going through a list of all the sort of things for like promo that I wanted to do, you're actually the first thing I said.
That's not really something that screams transphobia. But there is a broader conversation to have here when you're talking about things like gender neutral award shows, because one thing that trans folks don't want is, in a conversation about gender, for our gender identity or expression to be erased. Nobody is calling for people's gender identity or expression to be completely erased. What we are calling for is for the opportunity to celebrate people's gender identity and people's gender expression. And one frustrating thing that happens that a lot of cis folks tend to do when it comes to this is push for this sort of like gender neutrality in everything, as opposed to embracing people's gender identity. So a perfect example of this is you'll see a lot of folks that when interacting with a trans person, and we'll use a trans woman as an example, if they're interacting with a trans woman, they will exclusively use they them pronouns instead of she her pronoun, which is something that is denying somebody their gender identity and gender expression. And it kind of seems like it's coming from this mentality of, oh, well, if you make me think about it, well, then nobody gets any gender at all. And that's not what trans people are asking for. Trans people are just asking to be recognized as themselves. And so when Adele says that she's proud of being a woman and she really enjoys being a woman, yeah, trans women also enjoy being women. Nobody's gonna disagree with that. And it's ridiculous for Fox News to just sort of try to manufacture this outrage. But Fox News is really interested in sort of perpetuating this lie that, oh, by recognizing other people's gender identity, that you would somehow strip away all genders from everybody. And that's just fundamentally not the case. But that underlying mentality of, oh, well, if you make me try to respect your gender, then nobody gets any gender at all. That type of backlash is exactly the mentality that Fox News is trying to create. And they're trying to create this idea that trans folks are just trying to take away everybody's gender. And it's just this ridiculous nonsense. And And that's why they assumed that people would be out to get Adele for saying that she enjoys being a woman, when nobody actually did that. Because as a trans person, yeah, I think Adele should celebrate being a woman, just like every other woman should also be able to celebrate being a woman. There's literally nothing wrong with that. That's called gender euphoria. You can look it up. Cis people experience it too. But Fox News really just reveals how little they know or understand about trans issues by making this assumption that trans people are going to get mad at Adele. Or they know exactly what they're doing, and they're trying to intentionally create this ridiculous fear and division for literally no reason, because they are trying to scapegoat trans folks. Because what they don't want to address is the fact that the Republican Party at this point is undeniably fascist, and they really don't want to talk about any of the actual policy positions that they have. They'd rather hyper focus on marginalized people, and in this case it seems like they're trying to put trans folks in the hot seat. So look, as a trans woman, I will tell you all, I'm not trying to take away your gender. And I'm actually very happy for Adele that she really enjoys being a woman. That's actually very fantastic for her. So no, Fox News, people aren't trying to cancel Adele.
J.K. Rowling is another British woman who has a brand, as you mentioned, strong enough to be able to push back. And so sometimes that's also what it takes.
Also, another thing that they're trying to do here is you'll notice that they're trying to connect Adele to people like Dave Chappelle. They are trying to lump them into the same group, but they are not in any way, shape, or form in the same category. You also see them trying to lump Adele with J.K. Rowling. Now, Dave Chappelle has said a lot of very transphobic jokes, and whether or not he personally is incredibly transphobic to people around him, I have no way of knowing that. I can say that there are a lot of very hateful transphobes that love to just defend Dave Chappelle and really like to use his jokes as a point to rally around against the trans community. And then you have J.K. Rowling that is actively perpetuating a very harmful narrative that is untrue, that is trying to claim that trans women are secretly just men that are predators. That is incredibly harmful, and that is one of the core narratives that is used to justify violence against trans women. So saying that J.K. Rowling is in any way, shape, or form the same as Adele is just complete nonsense. But you see, what they're trying to do is they're trying to artificially create a coalition of celebrities to manufacture this consent and create this artificial sense that everybody is transphobic. When the truth of the matter is, no, not everybody is transphobic. And if you are transphobic, you're the weird one.
This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to stay up to date with my content, you can follow me at Benjamin Carollo on Twitter. And for those of you that might be wondering or have noticed, my pronouns are in fact she, her.